Civil Service Commission has information that you are a homosexual. What comment do you care to make about this? This scenario was something thousands of Americans faced during an event called the Lavender Scare. The Lavender Scare was an unrelenting campaign by the federal government to identify and fire all gay employees, with this campaign having taken place from the 1950s to the 1970s. The color lavender was associated with homosexuality at the time because lavender is a blend of pink and blue, representing femininity and masculinity. Now, how did this all get started? To answer that question, we have to go back to the 1930s and the Great Depression. As the Great Depression surged through America, many Americans lost their jobs. In order to restore the economy, President Franklin D. Roosevelt initiated the New Deal program, which involved opening up more federal jobs for unemployed civilians. As a result, countless workers migrated to Washington, D.C., among them numerous gays and lesbians. Many gay people in Washington were open about their sexuality, and often hung out in public areas and bars. But this openness would change 2 decades later during the Cold War. The Cold War was a period of great tension between the United States and Soviet Union that resulted in a fear of communism across America and the rise in power of a senator by the name of Joseph McCarthy. McCarthy believed that communists were everywhere, and once in a speech even claimed that there were communists in the U.S. State Department. In response, Deputy Undersecretary John Pufroy denied McCarthy's claims that the department employed communists. But Pufroy admitted that a number of persons considered to be security risks were fired. Among those fired were 91 gay people. Many people took Pufroy's revelation as proof that the entire government was infiltrated by sexual perverts. Communists and gay people were thought to be mentally and physically twisted, leading to people associating homosexuality with communism. Due to this association, gay people were identified as security risks. This eventually led to an executive order that allowed for security risks to be fired. Although McCarthy sparked the Lavender Scare, the committees that followed after fanned the flames. Facing pressure from the public, the government formed committees for the purpose of firing every gay person from the federal government. One such committee was a Wary Hill Committee. The Wary Hill Committee's investigations solidified the connection between government bureaucrats and communists, adding fuel to the growing fire. To make matters worse, the Wary Committee published a document detailing why gay people were not suited to work in the federal government. As this document carried the authority of Congress, many people took it as proof that gay people were a threat to national security and used this document as an excuse to discriminate against gay people. These committees also investigated people who dressed, talked, or acted differently from the norm. For example, common suspects included women who got too many phone calls from other women and men seen talking to other men in private. As a result, people took great care to not look gay. Politicians even made sure to appear in public with their wives to avoid speculation. Due to negative public perception, people who were fired were too ashamed to tell their family members why they were fired, fearing that they would be outcast. In order to prevent gay people from being rehired, the government would specify in the record that the person was fired for sexual perversion. Because of this, gay people had a hard time finding suitable jobs. This led to feelings of despair, fear, and hopelessness. The Lavender Scare brought gays and lesbians together, and eventually led to the gay rights movement. A figurehead of this movement was Frank Kameny, a U.S. Army Map Service astronomer who was fired for being gay. Kameny founded the Washington, D.C. branch of the Mattachine Society, which fought for the rights of gay people and organized the first protests in front of the State Department. The Mattachine Society primarily sought legal reform through court cases, gradually overturning discriminatory legislation. In 1969, the Norton decision ruled that federal servants could no longer be fired solely on the grounds that they were homosexual. Despite this ruling, the Civil Service Commission did not change their policy on firing gay people until 1975, thus officially ending the Lavender Scare.